Alright, guys. Okay, I think. Let me make sure. Yep, it's on. Okay. Sunday today. Already. Okay, so today, there's a lot to talk about. Not sure I'm up for this, but okay. Let's go. Okay. Come Monday, we're expecting something to happen. Not quite April 1st yet. So, of course, the convertible note is going to be complete on Tuesday. So, on Monday, we might, have a surprise news. Who knows? It could happen. But as far as the completion, sorry, my voice. Excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, April 1st is the completion of the convertible notes. So, hey, what's up, Tater Tot? I love the handle. Thank you so much for joining. Anyway, so today I thought I haven't seen this particular video to completion. So I thought, hey, let's just watch together and get my reaction live. Now, this is more information based than anything. So, and of course, it's always nice to have somebody who could explain a certain thing better than I do. And so this gentleman here is all about Bitcoin, so he seems to know a lot more than I would. And if you want to subscribe to his channel, you could go and do so. Typically, he's talking about a lot of Bitcoin stuff oriented type of content. And he does a lot of consultation too, I guess, if you kind of want to subscribe to his channel. There's a lot of stuff, but I think, again, any type of information about Bitcoin is going to be a good one, especially for people who don't know much about crypto, right? Especially Bitcoin too. There's a lot of misconception about the chain itself and what it does for the economy and all that stuff. I mean, a lot of secrecy too, right? Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. There's some people who claim to know whether that's a group of people or just one person. We don't know. Somebody who create this type of thing in secrecy. You could have your own conclusion on that, but for the last 20 years, apparently, nobody could hack the network quite yet. Again, the design is just that great, I guess. Who knows? Maybe the supercomputer could do that in the next 30 years, but until then, you could still be sure that the network is still secure yet and decentralized too. But anyway, just ran a little bit just to warm up. Not quite sure how many people are in here, and so apparently there's one person here commenting. I don't have the ability to see how many people are in here. So if you are in here, welcome. Now I was watching Richard Newton, and this is his chart. It's pretty cool how he's able to break it down. I know, not many people kind of understand all the swaps. This is the swap information. Again, the what is it called? This is the tools that the institution knows. to use, I guess, in order to keep certain thing down or keep certain things up, right? Again, depends on the security. And so since they have the ability to submit it to dark pool and all that stuff, that happens behind closed door. So typically, again, this is a tool for them to hide their position, whether it's long or short, right? Until the opportune time. And this is typically what they use in order to kind of maximize their gains, right? On the upper hand for retail and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Of course, this is why, when you have bullish news, typically, sell the news event type thing, right? Of course, they would love you to think that this is due to people just fed up with GameStop because of the Bitcoin thing. Oh, 7 people. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, wow. More than I expected. So, welcome. Welcome the 7 people of the world. Hey, because I can. Thank you. All right. So, let's see. Anyway, so the price action seemingly, obviously, is bad for this company, right? And again, this is why I'm saying to you, like, remember when I told you about this particular area, when the only narrative now that they could do is to smack the price down in order to convince people that this company is shitty to own. That means we already won, right? In the surface, behind closed door, sorry. On the surface, obviously, this is the only one other way that they could convince the public not to buy the company. And so typically, they just smack the price down, okay, on good news. Inevitably, what happened afterwards? You would see this rounding shenanigan for a little bit, of time just to drown out, the pain and suffering that you see. And then inevitably what would happen? You could see that there's a bottom coming, right? And this is the spike that we're all looking for, obviously. I'm not sure how violent it is going to be, but I'm expecting good things to come for the price action. Of course, nothing is for sure, right? Because they could still double down, tripling down on their stupidity, just like us too, right? The force of longs and shorts is still in play. The tug of war between the two. And for people who thinks that it's not institution, I think you're mistaken, because this company has been the talk of the town for quite some time. And I think, again, it would be foolish to think that this is not happening right behind closed door. And be ready for every article out of the woodwork saying that you're stupid for staying. And it might drawn out for another couple of weeks before any amount of price movement that is about to happen. And of course, there might be some pain, a little bit more pain, because of the narrative of tariffs. But I assure you, what happens next cannot be stopped. But yeah, so again, that's why having a dry powder obviously is always a good thing. Currently, I have none left. I already kind of tapped out all my loans and all that stuff. But hey, that's the risk that I'm willing to take in order to hopefully, would be able to pay it back. But technically, even if I couldn't pay it back in full, what I have in 401k, technically I'm paying myself back. Just in case you don't know, I took a loan from my 401k. Still have that, but anyway, that's beside the point. Pretty irresponsible. I wouldn't recommend people doing that, but I just see this opportunity, and I feel like it's an opportunity of a lifetime. So if I'm right, of course, I stand to make a lot more due to the price action. If I'm wrong, I'm just end up paying myself back, in the future, based on the loan thing. Anyway, so and interest rate is pretty high too for 1K loan. I mean, it's better than the personal loan, right? So, all right. Ooh, team 51 shares here. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. I love team. What is it? 51 gang. Appreciate you. Okay, so of course, yes, good things coming. There's an expectation. Perhaps there's gonna be a relief of buying of some sort. Of course, there are institutions out there who are, waiting for this opportunity as well. So a lot of speculation out there that that perhaps Michael Burry might be the one who, bought into those. So, Tater Tot. Okay, thank you for the update. I'm assuming that's 11 people watching, right? Short our trap now. The only game plan they have now is to cahoots. Is to cahoots with US press. Okay. The question is now, is Trump on the dark side or good side to benefit humanity? Oh. Okay. Not quite sure about that. I think it's up to the SEC, honestly. The new SEC chairman is coming, and he seems to be a database person too. And I'm sure if it's bad enough, they're gonna choose to hide it still. Whatever underneath the surface, right? If they are able to fix the economy, somebody's going to lose so badly. Unless somebody's going to jail for this, you won't see any justice that ensues. It's just, again, the catastrophe is here. I really think, this type of fraud, it's just bigger than any of us to try to fix it. But that's not our headaches to think about, I really think Trump is trying to do his best to keep the economy afloat so that he look good, on people's, good books. So, I'm sure he will support the stock market at all costs because that's how he, measures success. And there's a lot of balance sheet shifting balance sheets all around. I just recently saw the new executive orders about the energy aspect of the economy, land, offshore drilling and all that stuff. So it's coming for sure. Again, to try to drive down the cost of energy here, because that's the leading cause of inflation per se. Of course, the money printing too. That's also the leading cause of inflation, because if the Treasury just keep issuing bonds and issuing more bond to buy the bonds and all that stuff, so the Federal Reserve is gonna have to be the one to split the bill. But again, I'm thinking you have to think about the big banks out there too. The regulation to issue the fractional reserve banking. I mean, the only way to fix this is to pump is to pump the crypto market. And since young people are the one that are, hopefully you get the right crypto, not meme coins and all that stuff. In my opinion, XRP, Bitcoin, and all of the big caps out there, the 5 that Trump mentioned, you be stupid not to own it. I know Solana has its own problem and all that stuff, but it could solve a whole bunch of liquidity issue that might cause the market crash here. But yeah, I mean, again, crash comes and go. It doesn't stay for long. Especially, with this company, GME, when you have $6 billion worth of money to buy at the bottom, why would you be afraid of that? Like it's more of a risk not to own GME at this moment in time. Anyway, what is this? Mark the like. Oh, thank you. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. I know. Hey. Now I'm becoming more nervous as more people coming in, but I'll just block that out of my mind. Nobody's actually watching, so I'm just talking here by myself. Okay. Just free form and all that stuff. All right, so let's kick this a notch here. Of course, we're here to talk about Bitcoin, obviously the new investment. And MicroStrategy is added again. So he's adding some more orange to the chart. And so as you see here, obviously he's been increasing his cost average. And so this is going to continue to go up. Of course, what is this? Total dollar cost average. So this green line is his cost average right there. So if it comes down here to hit that trend line, it's gonna scare the bejesus out of people, I'm sure. I'm telling you, the drop is gonna be scary. But there's a silver lining. I know what's lie on the other side. And this graph is very telling, okay? Because in the last 3 months, if you were to held any one of these great companies, right, like the QQQ, even Bitcoin itself doesn't even compare to MicroStrategy for whatever reason, right? Whether it's on leverage, because again, this is a leverage play for sure on Bitcoin. Because again, the movement, right, or it could move just as quickly down as well. So this is only a snapshot, okay? 3 months return here. Obviously, maybe in a year, it's going to be worse than Bitcoin, right? So just be aware of that. But this thing is going to be the liquidity, grabbing. And it will grab the attention of traders out there all around the world. This is why, MSTR, is the most famous stock to trade for these institutions. Again, just to, earn some income here, okay? And if you are smart, you would, hopefully you're on the right side of history here. But compared to any other, big, large tech out there, in the last 3 months, you could see there's a lot of red, especially Tesla over here, even though Tesla is the other one that hold Bitcoin here. So in this case scenario, obviously over time, right? I'm sure if you measure within a year, you're going to see a lot more that Bitcoin is going to outperform every single tech stock out there, right? So more Bitcoin, less risk. It's crazy, to think about this. And here's another perspective on Bitcoin as a less risky asset over time. But again, you have to think of it as a long-term thing. And this is the one. So let's listen in. It's less than a minute, but it's really telling if you compare, dollar to Bitcoin.
The volatility on this thing is way too high. for anybody to call that a savings account. I mean, you may like it, but I think that's a bridge too far right now, isn't it?
Over the last 30 years, the U.S. dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. So in my lifetime, $1 now buys you 50% or 50 cents of service and goods. And so when you think about that, the most volatile asset that most people hold is the dollar, and they're on the wrong side of volatility. Bitcoin, on the other hand, over a long period of time appreciates. And so the best statistic to look at this is in 2016, the average median home was about $380,000. I'm sorry, $280,000. Today, it's over $400,000.
Right.
So 50% increase in the average home in America. During that same 8-year period, it used to cost 664 Bitcoin to buy that home. Today, it costs 6 Bitcoin. It has been a 99% reduction in the cost of a home in America if you held Bitcoin. And so another way to think about that is if you had about $5,000 of Bitcoin in 2016, today it could buy you a house.
But depending on...
That is crazy. And I find that out the hard way, you guys. I'm telling you. It's harder for me to own one Bitcoin now and regret every single day selling that Bitcoin. For just a small profit, right? At the time, it wasn't that much. I mean, technically, I get some capital out there to get into Gamestop now. That's why I have such a large position. Of course, small compared to all of you, I'm sure. But in my lifetime, obviously, if I had not get into Bitcoin, I would not get the position that I have right now in GameStop. And again, I was able to kind of like compare and contrast, but in order for me to keep gaining more than Bitcoin over the longest period of time, I would have to, like, again, sometimes doing nothing is better than doing, everything like trading in and out. And that's what my point I'm trying to grasp here. The simplest way is to buy and hold whatever asset it is, right? Of course, certain asset perform much better than certain one in certain time frame, obviously. So yes, timing is also a matter of, whether it's your luck or not. But as long as you understand what you're holding, for the longest period of time, you're bound to create that wealth creation. And you better have enough of something that will, imagine if you buy Bitcoin $1 a day for the last 20 years, you're going to be set for life already, right? I mean, think about how much Bitcoin you would be able to to accumulate. One Bitcoin used to be less than $1. So if you do one Bitcoin at $1 a day, you would have been, again, I'm telling you, but you have to hold it for 20 years, right? And you have to keep believing in and adding every single day. And again, so that's also a testament to making sure you get something early on. And of course, that's risk associated with it too. Nobody really imagined that Bitcoin would be this, center stage of I guess the whole economy here, or at least the thing that will save this economy, because the economy that we have right now, it's based on debt-based system, and the debt is outpace the growth of any freaking nation whatsoever. I mean, if America going down, everyone's going down. I don't care, how powerful China think they are, right? Without money and all that stuff. And of course, other powerful nation who prepare for all of this will rise ahead, hopefully. But I think the race now is Bitcoin accumulation. And so I think that's why Trump have a good plan here, at least to kind of lean on to the high growth sector, which is crypto, the highest growth sector out there, industry, including AI. I mean, come on. They used to say, oh, AI is this, AI that. So the next growth is going to be blockchain. It's not AI. AI does not make money yet. next 20 year would be AI pumping, So yeah, I mean, not quite sure how the world is going to be. Hopefully everything's going to be cheaper compared to Bitcoin, right? So the more Bitcoins you have, the better. And so what better time to accumulate Bitcoin right now? GME, of course, I feel like this is the right time to buy Bitcoin, obviously, based on the stock to flow model. If you've seen it before, let's see, just in case people haven't seen it before. It's a very simple model to glance at. And there's a couple of different versions how they calculate it, but this is the best one that I could find. I'm sure, again, depends on how they calculate the stock to flow within 10 days, right? And the stock to flow within 400% here, okay? So within 10 days, it's a little bit more, I guess, short-term time measurement. And so if you look at the within 10 days, right, Bitcoin is actually very undervalued at the moment. Because anytime it's trading below this, it's going to snap right back up there. Okay? And we're at that point now where, you're going to see a 20% up in a day. And again, this is the term of super cycle comes from. This is where the super cycle come from. Is that, it doesn't seem to be trading down here. Okay. And we're having a lot of delay, you could say manipulation on institution and all that stuff because they want to accumulate as much as they can before they send it up. You could say that. But again, you are at the time of which it is bound to happen where. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. So this is the day, the price. There you go. All right. So with that though, the latest would be August, the end of August. You should see some sort of movement. Okay. If not, obviously you are actually buying based on this model anyway. You're buying at the base level in which the new price discovery coming in. But yeah, so that's one. That's why I'm so convicted in this measurement of, you could say again, hedge for inflation. It's real, you guys. If you bought GameStop, if you bought Bitcoin a year ago, you would have been up 20%. Just like that. I mean, even the S&P, right? And so that's crazy to think about. Okay, so I showed this one already. Let's move on to the convertible bonds. I know I delay quite a bit here. Okay, where is that? Right here. Okay, so let's react to this real quick. Let's go.
Hello, apes. Hello, GameStop investors. My name is Forrest Hoddle. This is Bitcoin Not Crypto. I'm a Bitcoin educator. I do one-on-one consults, and I talk a lot about Bitcoin treasury companies. So that is why you're here. You want to know about this new convertible bond offering that GameStop has done and what it means. And is this short interest that you've probably seen some charts go around the internet? Maybe you're on Super Stonks or, Wall Street Bets or something like that, and you're seeing these charts and you're thinking, wow, there's more short interest than there was before.
By the way, I speed him up a little bit here. Maybe it's a little too fast.
When we executed an amazing short squeeze. Now, I will just begin to explain what this convertible bond offering is and how it's connected to this short interest that you're seeing and everything you need to know going forward and what we will see in this trade. Now, the biggest Bitcoin treasury company out there is MSTR, and Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, was just seen with Michael Saylor. Ryan Cohen has followed 2 Bitcoin accounts on Twitter, being 2 out of the 3 that he follows being Bitcoin accounts. And they announced in their Q4 earnings that the board unanimously voted on agreeing to buy Bitcoin Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. So a day after that, they announced the proposed private offering of a $1.3 billion of convertible senior notes. And a day after that, they announced the pricing of those notes. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat that this is the same strategy that MSTR has been doing for a while. And I've done around 40 plus videos about MSTR. So if you want to see the future of what GameStop will become, you just need to look at the past of what MSTR has become and connect those a little bit, maybe think about how they can form their own niche or carve out their own piece in this new frontier that they are entering, which is a Bitcoin treasury company. So before we get into the details, the exact details of the pricing of this convertible note, which will help flesh out the entire story and everything, I want to explain a little bit about what a convertible note is. It's a type of debt instrument. So they're basically raising $1.3 billion of debt, which means they will acquire cash upfront for selling a debt instrument. Now, this convertible bond has a 0% interest rate. So if it was just a regular bond, you would see some sort of interest rate attached to it, say a 5% interest rate. And if it's a $100 bond and it's a 1-year term, you would buy this bond for $100. And at the end of the year, with the interest paid out to you, you would receive $105 total. So that's a traditional debt. Now, what's crazy about this, right, is they're able to raise this capital. They're able to acquire all of this cash for 0% of interest rate. So they don't have to pay extra money for the money that they're getting right away from issuing this debt. That doesn't mean that it's free completely. There's a convertibility clause in there. So what that means, a convertible bond, you can kind of see it as a traditional bond with a call option built into it. Now, why would somebody want this over just a call option? You can go onto a brokerage account and just buy a call option of GME if you want it. Well, this is a call option for 5 years into the future. So it's a very long dated call option. Beyond that as well, there's certain institutions, think pension funds, retirement funds, certain financial institutions out there that really can only buy certain types of financial instruments. And some of them have a mandate where they can only buy convertible bonds. So they look at all the convertible bonds that are being offered by corporations out there, and they want ones that are very volatile, or at least certain convertible bond buyers do. And the reason for that is because
okay. Sorry, I'm trying to set up this pen thing. Yesterday I didn't get to doodle, so I'm stressed out right now. So let's de-stress and doodle a little bit while listening to this. Now, one thing that I want to point out there, the institutional part is coming. And this is why I keep saying institution is going to be the one that moved this stock. And it has always been like that, you guys. Retail don't move the stock. That's the misconception that they want you to, kind of believe in. Believe in because of the narrative, right? Because they don't want to tell you the real story, the real cause of the price movement of any stock, right? Because again, that's a risk to them. The risk is to the upside, not downside, for these institutions, because they took a short position. And not all institutions do this. Only a handful of institutions. But then also, by not having GME in their portfolio, they are actually shorting GME as well, but just natural short, right? If you don't have GME, of course, you want exposure to it. So, so you're technically shorting the company by not having it in your portfolio. And since it is the most popular stock right now, of course, every single institution is trying to get their hands on it. And again, that's why you see all the dark pool order, coming in hundreds of millions of dollars here. No, not real hundreds. I think the amount. Oh, did I? Oh my goodness, you guys, crazy. Okay, 1 second. I want to pick gold. But yeah, so the yesterday was like $30 million order over here. Oh, sorry, you guys, I have not doodled for a while, so this is de-stressing. Okay. So let's go back to the video here.
they trade and they use the convertible bond as their long position, and they will short against it. So now we get into the idea of why there might be a lot of short interest right after the announcement of doing this convertible bond. So the people doing that are called convertible bond arbitrageurs, and there's these desks out there, these trading desks. And what they do is they take a position, because they're mandated to do so, they take a long position with a convertible bond, and they short shares against it using that bond as their long position. And what they do is they become delta neutral. So they short enough shares to cover the delta of the long bond that they hold. Now, what they're doing beyond that is, because it's a volatile asset, GME, or we have more historical evidence and example with MSTR. But what they do is there's periods of volatility spikes and volatility drops, or underlying price of the shares going really high and becoming overbought. And that is when the arbitrageurs will put on their shorts. And then when the price goes way down, they will buy back their shorts. So they'll see they'll just be following volatility, and they'll be kind of arbitraging the difference. And the reason they do this is they don't just want full upside of the convertible bond. By applying the shorts, they have basically covered themselves in case there's a downside move. And in case there's a downside move and no recovery. So the shorts will offset any downside move, and the bond will offset any upside move. And they will just take the difference when they can do really clever, smart trades of knowing where the volatility is in the underlying shares. So sorry to disappoint all the apes out there, but that amount of short interest is largely driven by these arbitrage desks. And of course, that is speculative because we don't know for sure, but it would really make a lot of sense that it would be. And these shorts are not really liquidatable. They're not really set up to be squeezed because they have that underlying long position. So what would happen if there was a short squeeze on these arb traders is the underlying share price would go up, and they've got that appreciation of the long bond with a delta neutral spread between their short interest that they have, and they would come out even at the end of they wouldn't be able to.
Well, yes, I mean, that's a good point, but I still think that because of the amount of short interest, if this is the case, then the short interest didn't change, right? Whether they are, up or down, it's just, again, the difference between the bond traders out there. So the short interests that are hidden is still remaining. So the underlying cause is still, not being addressed here, because the hidden amount of short interest, who knows what it is, right? Currently, the official number is like 7%. So again, those type of event could still happen. I disagree with the point of view there. Now, for the institution who got into this bond here, eventually they are going to be the buyer, of shares, but in 3 years, right? So they have 3 years worth of, volatility in and out of stock, right? Of course, again, I'm not saying like it's never going to happen within these 3 years, the price action that we're all looking for here. It's not going to happen in within this. No, it will happen when every other institution out there, want to take advantage of the short squeeze too. Remember, there are institutions out there who also want to create that short squeeze. Okay, because again, money, right? Greed. You think if the institution saw the opportunity to earn $100 million in a day, they don't do that? Opportunists, right? And so don't be naive to think that, it will never happen. And what if the bondholders are not the one who shorted? Can you imagine that? Because they know that the upside is way more profitable, right? Just to hold the bond for 3 years, you're going to be able to earn so much more already compared to a compared to any other convertible bonds out there, they are allowed to buy into. Okay. Now, the bond market, of course, okay, so with this convertible bond, Ryan Cohen, leadership has created a new market, a new type of demand for the stock in and of itself, right? Now, demand also begets supply, right? And so again, that's why like people are thinking dilution and all that stuff. And so with this dynamic here, institution could get in and out much more easily than retail. That's the only sucky part, right? But as retail, because we know the value of this equity here due to, balance sheets, okay, due to Bitcoin enthusiasts, right? Whatever value you subscribe to, brand, the company itself that they are telling you it's going bankrupt, the brand name, and the future earnings, okay, of the company. So there's a lot of things to be desired over time as an equity holder. Unfortunately, as retail, we cannot get into the game of buying these convertible notes right now at the moment. Only institution. But these institutions could be a good institution too that are, betting, rooting for the success of this company. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's also a battle here that, the long and shorts that will provide that liquidity, provide that, volume to come into the equity market too, right? So the more traders coming in, the more speculation, the more price action you're going to see up and down. So again, that's why, I'm telling you, people are going to flock into this stock again. And it's going to become the most popular, the talk of the town again. So, all right. Sorry, you guys. Okay, let's continue.
To trade in between that because they would be way above conversion price and they wouldn't be able to sell their shares or buy back their shares. The arb trade would be over, and they would probably want to convert and get out of that early. And because it would be way above conversion price, right? That call option would basically, the embedded call option would basically be in the money. So you'd probably want to do that and get into a different convertible bond that they could then do this arb trade against. So it doesn't really benefit them to have it long term, but when they convert their bond, those become new shares and they offset the shares that they've sold because it's delta neutral. So really, it's not going to create this massive, there's no forced buyer like in a short squeeze because they have the underlying shares. They're just locked up in a different type of instrument that isn't necessarily showing. It's not that they're long shares and short shares. They're a long convertible bond and short shares, but that convertible bond can turn into newly issued shares after it's past its conversion price and replace those short shares or the borrowed shares that they've shorted. So hopefully that all makes sense. Feel free to ask me any questions if you feel like I've missed something or if something was unclear.
See, that's the conversion too is up to GME to whether just giving you cash, shares, or both, right? So it's at GME discretionary. And of course, there's also a parameter in which there's a certain time frame in which GME could force you to convert or force you to take cash. I think within 3 years or something like that. And then within 5 years, after you hold for 5 years, it's on you whether you want to convert it or not. So the long-term bond holders will, have more of a say on the conversion aspect of it, while the 3 years bondholder have less of a say because, GME could technically force you to convert or force you to take cash. And if those condition is met and the convertible bond holder are agreeing to that, and seemingly they already have offers, right? So remain to be seen. So hopefully by Tuesday we would know that. and who. I don't know if they're gonna tell you who hold those. I think again, people are gonna dig and find out who's holding those. Hey KCR, what's up? What's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Is the price of GME going to go down anymore on Monday? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, but I feel like it's a very low price for people to accumulate. I mean, the lowest that I think it's gonna go to is $20, right? So any lower than that, I have no clue, you guys. Like, we need to hold close to $19, for this to, I guess, for people not to freak out. Excuse me. Oh, 200 moving average? Okay, let's do that. What's it? A moving average. Simple moving average. How about that? Okay, let's check. 200. Okay, yeah, so it's above, we're trading below the simple moving 200 here, moving average of 200. So the last 200 days of trading, the price should be around $25 a share. So the lower, the better, right? Because then you are, typically buying at the lowest price possible. Typically, again, this stock likes to trade well below for quite some time. So just be aware of that. It could still drop down. But the but anyway, so it's like a leash, right? Think of it as a leash. It likes to snap back up the 200 moving average. Typically, well, technically, this should have been the one that kind of like goes without that issuance, right? So again, the bond issuance is an excuse for them to smack the price down for sure. Just like the video was saying, arbitrary short position here. So this is, again, just because of the event, not due to retail selling or anything like that. It's for sure a manipulative event for them to get the lowest pricing for the bond as low as possible because of the VWAP thing, right? So that they get to make as much money as possible based on this. It's a coordinated event, for sure. Okay. So again, whether that should be legal or not, I feel like if they're able to do that, then of course they're going to be able to manipulate the price. But keep in mind though, I feel like it's harder for them to smack the price down way below $20, which is more than 50% equity at this moment in time. I mean, 6. Okay, let me try. It's like $60 billion divided by, what is the market cap right now? 10? I feel like it's 10. Hey, under 10? Are these people crazy? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Can you imagine, like, again, that's why I'm thinking, like, dumb stormtrooper, right? 60% equity. Oh my gosh. How I wish I have more money. Goodness. All right, guys, look at this. Quarter one, we're gonna crush it just on the interest payment alone. You know what I look into is the next estimate for this. So they increase it. I used to see it was like 2 cents down or something, negative 2 cents, and now it's up to 4. So even with that, right? Let's say they don't do anything with that $4 billion, which is crazy in and of itself. If they are, kind of saving that, that's still an immense safety net for this company to never go under because of the interest payment, right? Again, just simply doing nothing with your cash, they are surviving and thriving. Thriving, yes, by 4%. I get it. Like, that's not sexy for most people. I get that. But come on, they're buying Bitcoin on the capital raised here too. So with that combination, I feel like it's lethal combination. This company is going to survive forever. Okay? I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying, like, there's no risk. I don't see risk in this at all. All I'm seeing is upside. Of course, it's just based on my own analysis, right? So understand that. So based on the earnings for this quarter, we found out that they have marketable securities still. They haven't sold. They haven't, whether it's a loss or gain, they have not sold the marketable security yet. And from that, we are able to earn $54 million from just interest payment alone, right? And then if you were to divide that by the amount of shares that we have currently, of course, this is not accounting for the quote-unquote dilution convertible notes because it's not here yet. It's going to be in 3 years. So within this 3 years time frame, this is the amount of shares that is out trading right now. Okay. So with that alone, it comes out to be 12 cents, just interest payment alone. So you would be sure to kind of deduct from that that they're gonna be able to beat this earnings estimate from Wall Street here. I mean, the next thing is, of course, to try to beat the revenue, per share. Obviously, we have not been able to do that quite yet. Again, this is the pain point that we have. Obviously, I know, that's the only metric that they could beat us down with. But again, the bottom line is what I'm focusing on right now, because again, the company is not going bankrupt by making money or by not doing anything with the cash for now. Anyway, I mean, with the high interest payment, right? Why not? It's risk free. Even Bitcoin too. Like if people want Jimmy to buy Bitcoin, right? I mean, based on MicroStrategy, that graph tells you that yes, temporarily Bitcoin would have been a cause for concern for them to smack the price down again for GME. Okay. And so I really think, we're setting up for the best time to buy into GME. I mean, buy into Bitcoin here, and the perfect asset class. Now, of course, the lethal combination is just keep the bond. Okay. Keep the bond, whether it's half that, even let's say they use $3 billion, just half of their treasury, to buy into Bitcoin. That $3 billion could still accrued, enough for the operational costs. So, and let that sink in too. Now they have the growth of Bitcoin, as a treasury. I mean, the speculation is that they're going to continue to do it. over time. And again, people who love debt, this is it. I'm telling you, if they are continuing to issue bonds and all that stuff, you're gonna see your price going higher and higher. Again, if they continue to do it, maybe every year they could do that just to space out, the payment thing in the next 5 years. And so free money begets free money, right? If you have the ability to raise this much money, you're gonna have the ability to raise even more money, tripling that next time. I mean, just look at MicroStrategy. They just raised $15 billion or something like that at this scale, and it's for a company that doesn't even earn money. They're losing money based on their balance sheets. See, they lose $1 billion on net income. So again, that's probably like interest payment and all that stuff, operational costs. Who knows? Like, I don't know what their software was doing at the time, but they have plenty of Bitcoin to hit escape velocity even at this $1 billion price point. Obviously, right? If Bitcoin's going to $700,000 a coin, this company is going to be the next $1 trillion company for sure. So yeah. See, they just issue a 10% because they, again, because of their balance sheets right now at this moment, they have to pay 10%, you guys. I mean, oh my God. I just thought of something too. What if GME buy one of those bonds from MicroStrategy and get 10% risk-free, you guys? That would be crazy too, right? I mean, 10% risk-free for however many years. I mean, 5 years, right? Whatever the convertible note is, or converting thing is. Oh my gosh, crazy! Instead of 5, I can't even think. My head just exploded. 10%. Yeah, Jimmy could buy these bonds too for 10% risk-free. Preferred stock. So it has a special leg up even for the senior notes, right? I think that's what it is. Down from about... I mean, yes, there's an associate risk for that. 8% convertible preferred stock outstanding. Oh, goodness. I mean, even if they just buy $1 billion worth of bond at that percentage, this is crazy, guys, crazy. So instead of 4%, you're gonna get 10%, even more money. Can offer dividends now. Oh, okay. All right. So we're just waiting for the Black Swan event that crashed the economy so they can implement digital currency. Oh, okay. All right. That's doom and gloom. Thank you for that. Thoughts? I know it's coming though. Again, I think Bitcoin blockchain technology is going to be implemented for sure. it's gonna be scary first, though. They're gonna scare the bejesus out of people first, and then they're gonna raise the price. Jimmy should offer a dividend now that they will own Bitcoin off of the shareholders' back. Okay, all right. Somebody's very. That would be good. I mean, that sentiment of companies trying to raise money to stay relevant. I don't like that sentiment at all, because I feel like that sentiment, it's just demonizing companies that are using the tools that they have available to them through the equity market. The fact that, our shareholder deserve a break and all that stuff. Well, if the companies is not doing well, none of us would be here as a shareholder, right? And the reason why you bought into a company is because you want to support the company's future, because you want to support, the speculation is that the company's going to do well. Hopefully you will make money. I think that sentiment that is kind of like making it a negative connotation for any company to raise money. It seems as though they don't want the company to be successful. I mean, in the olden day, they used to praise CEO who are able to raise billions of dollars, from whoever, right? The popularity of raising money used to be the gold standard for any company, for any leadership out there. They would have flocked into this type of investment or leadership. But for some reason right now, again, it seems like it's an upside down world in my world here. When I think about debt and all that stuff, right? Companies that are massive, have a massive amount of debt tend to be the one that is being promoted by the mainstream media out there. And I know the reason why, but typically, of course, because they have the ability to send the price up, send the price down, they typically confuse people because of the price, right? It's like, the reason why Nvidia doing so well is because the price doing so well is because the underlying company. Like, no, it has nothing to do with the fundamental of the company. It has everything to do with the control of liquidity that they have and which one are they choosing to promote, the most. And I want you to notice this, like the things that they choose to promote the most are the ones that you want to kind of keep an eye on. The amount of debt, the amount of money that needs to be created in order for you to get your money back in 10 years is slim to none. Okay. But the upcoming company that is going to grow into their balance sheets, grow into something big, they don't want you to have, right? So, i.e., Jimmy. I mean, you see that over and over again. So, I would not like a dividend at this point at all. Okay, all right. I mean, dividend, I don't know how I feel about that either. Again, like, you have to, take money away from the company in and of itself. But knowing who Ryan Cohen is, I don't think he likes dividends either. He would much rather use that money to grow the company. At least safeguard build the foundation for the company. I'm not shilling, but they have $5 billion, no debt, but took another. Just saying, okay, that's okay. I mean, good. I mean, look, you have an opinion. It's okay. That's just an opinion. I get the sentiment there. But I think there's something in play here. Of course, this is the maximum time to raise money when you have the capability to do so. Remember, raising money is easier than actually making money. You realize that, right? With this economy and all that stuff. So while people are so eager to give you that fund, you better, take advantage of that as much as you can. You could say that he's taking advantage of the shareholder, but again, you don't have to be here. You don't have to buy into it, honestly, right? And again, that's the risk. That's the risk of any equity holder out there, to always be in the lookout for those type of leadership if you don't agree with that money raise, right? I'm thinking in a different level, because I feel like, a zero interest debt is very valuable right now. Okay. It's valuable. Why? Because everywhere else, you see, every other company, they have to pay much more than this. You realize that, right? And so at this rate, think about, this is the economy in which we're living in, where everything's like a recession. Oh my God, like, I don't understand what people don't. I'm just like screaming the top of my lungs. What you don't realize is how amazing GME is and this leadership is, to the point where people are willing to give $1 billion plus, zero interest rate at a recession time. I mean, the fear of recession, the fear of tariffs, the fear of market crash. They don't even care about money when money is king. Okay, and you know that billionaires love money. They don't just give somebody a zero interest rate for no apparent reason. It's because they know that the reward outweighed the risk of not making, a dollar out of that $1 billion. Do you realize that? And so, like I said, this would have been the pinnacle of success 10, 15 years ago of any company that is able to raise this amount of money. Yes, from the public. Yeah. And imagine how much the bank would have with this balance sheet right now. How much do you think the bank would willing to sell to you at if GME were to IPO today? Right? Let me, are you familiar with a company called, hold on you guys, 1 second. Hold on, let me see which one. WeWork. Let me see. This one right here. Okay, this is a disaster.
Does WeWork?
I'll come back to the Bitcoin in a minute, but let me just sidetrack a little bit. I know people are kind of bored. I don't know. Not quite sure how many people are still around, but anyway, so let's listen to this one and tell me whether this is a pinnacle of success or disaster or whatever, right?
Does WeWork's implosion pose a systemic risk? Company went from a $47 billion valuation to near bankruptcy in just 6 weeks. It's been kind of a phenomenal story to watch.
WeWork is facing.
Right? Did you hear that? A valuation of what, $50 billion? IPO. Everybody, including Kramer, was saying, this is actually a good opportunity. Pumping it to retail, right? At IPO, re-IPOing and whatever, at what, $20 billion in debt. And they're pumping it to you. And then what happened? 6 weeks later, file for bankruptcy. realize the insanity of that is. And they worry about a $10 billion company. GME is the worst company to own? Really? In history of freaking Wall Street? It's crazy. Oh, people are still around. Oh, right. Okay. I guess there's a lot of crazy people out there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I mean, I guess crazy stick together, huh? Like Rowan Kitty said. But anyway, like it's baffling to me that people, again, still time and time again getting so scammed and so like head in the sand that they don't know anything about the manipulation that is, about these type of coverage here. I'm telling you, like, if you could find the old video, I did a video about this actually, where Kramer was like pumping it. Go look at it, and I think it's one of the pre-recorded video that I did like a year ago when that happened. But I remember it clearly. Kramer was pushing it and all that stuff, saying, oh, this is actually a good turnaround company, or it may be, right, whatever the language was at the time, to try to, entice retail to buy into it. And when they know it's going to go bankrupt in 6 months, in 6 weeks. It's disgusting, by the way. And so, but anyway, while in the meantime, GME is the worst company to own. When they have $6 billion worth of cash to do whatever they wish to do with. Financial freedom at the max here. Where they don't even need Wall Street money to do this. They don't. Because they know that, with that money comes a massive, what is it called? Massive restriction, on what they could do with the money. And so, but my point to you is that if you worry about dilution, dilution doesn't mean bad at all. Depends on what you do with the money. And if he indeed, which I trust him to buy Bitcoin with it, he's actually thinking about the future of this company much more than you and I could ever imagine. Okay. This is his legacy. I'm telling you, people like that, you don't want to get in the way of, and you need to support people like this, CEO like this, who are actually have the fiduciary responsibility for shareholder. That's the role of any, CEO out there. Yes, it's born out of a crazy movement, right? But it doesn't, it's not easy to turn this type of company around. I'm telling you, with all of the challenge that it is posing at the time being, all of the negativity from the press attacking left and right. You don't understand, like, the struggle of people. I know, you're like, oh, well, he's a billionaire, he doesn't need anything. Say, well, they have different pain than us peasant over here. Okay. I'm thinking, again, I admire people like that, where they could go through pain and come out on it, come out on top despite the pain. Meanwhile, you have CEO like this who talk the big books, talk the big, game, being the messiah of Wall Street over here. Okay? While just diminishing everybody's wealth in 6 weeks. And you have SoftBank over here, which, was the one who's behind the investment, try to pump it to retail and all that stuff. So that's kind of a little bit of a red flag there, because SoftBank just announced like $500 billion in investment for AI's infrastructure. And again, this is the AI infrastructure thing. That's why I'm thinking like it's a bubble, right? Because now they're pumping it to you and all that stuff to try to get you to be excited about NVIDIA, about any AI stock, while you should be thinking about blockchain, because blockchain is the next setup for that success. And so yeah, again, to me, Bitcoin makes all the sense in the world right now. Keep trying to pull the wool over our eyes. What is this? TP. I don't know what this is. TPB. Blah, 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 blah. Remember, me and abbreviation doesn't mix, you guys. So, sure. Thank you. Let's see. Meeting as crap opportunities disguise the financial. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I'm telling you, that's why you have to be smarter. Do your research. Don't believe in anything just because they're media. They have multi-million dollars worth of, suit and ties people. They're paid to do what they do, even though I'm sure, most of them don't even know how to read balance sheet themselves, I bet, and they don't question the narrative. That's why they're there in front of you. The success that you're seeing on TV, typically, again, it's called manufactured consents, is that they only hired people that, that gives them that, they call it an echo chamber. Okay. That will give you the sound bite and never question the narrative. And if they do become wise to it, they would get fired. Okay, it happens over and over again with the journalists out there. I'm sure you've heard of Glenn Greenwald, okay? Bill Donahue or whatever. Who's the other one? Tucker Carlson, Anytime they wake up to the truth of something, you get fired because they don't like that. They don't like you to question the narrative at all. And so that should tell you something, okay? Question everything. Don't believe me. I have my own flaw. I might not read a certain things well. I might misunderstand something that you could probably fit in there. So okay. Oh, okay. The power that be. All right. I did not know that. Thank you so much for the clarification. Anyway, so back to Bitcoin, the future of this company. Okay, so let's pay attention. I'm sorry for the sidetrack. Okay, let's back focusing. Okay. It's 1:00, but it's okay. I keep going. My goal is to do 5 hours. We'll see if I could survive throughout this. Sorry, I'm trying to forget something right now, personal in my life, but going through it. So this is the way that I'm kind of decompress myself, is to talk about GameStop, right, and Bitcoin, because that's the only thing I could control at the moment. So nothing. Yeah. But anyway, so let's go back.
Let's get into the details of the pricing, and maybe a little bit more will unfold and this story will start to make sense for you. So the notes will mature on April 1st, 2030, so 5 years from now. So it's a very long dated call. An initial conversion price of approximately $29.85 per share. So that's talking about the GME share price, and that's a premium of approximately 37.5%. So this is very interesting and should be looked at very clearly here. This is hugely beneficial to GameStop. If they were to do an ATM or an at the market where they're just issuing shares right today and selling them into the market, they'd be selling them for whatever the market price is, so $22. So they wouldn't have any premium on top of them, and they would act as selling pressure immediately on the market. So they're essentially selling future shares at a premium of today's price of 37.5%. Now,
That's very important. So that means in the future, the floor of this stock is $30. I know it may seem low to you at the moment because we know the value of this company, which is $50. But rest assured, I'm sure, again, in 3 years, he could force people out to take just cash. Plus, check a small amount of dilution here. So that, again, in 3 years, you may not get any dilution at all. Right? But even if they dilute it, and at that point, the price of GME is going to be, able to support that 50 million shares in the future, right? If every single bondholder is convert to shares, right? Assuming. And so, or technically 5 years, right? In 3 years, GME could force the conversion if the price is low. Right? Again, it's up to the bondholder if the price is high, if the price reach a certain amount, I think it's $38 or something, they could force conversion then. And so institution who bought it would be holding GME at $38 a share. And that would be the reported, base price for those institutions there. Now, it's up to them if they want to hold on to that. But again, that's the parameter, right? The condition on this on this convertible notes. So I'm telling you, the price going to go up no matter what.
Well, in 5 years, GME's share price could be way higher than that. And the bondholders, if they weren't an arb trader, they would look very smart. They would have a very profitable trade. So there is that, right? In 5 years, those bonds will be worth a lot because of the embedded call option in them. But right now, they're able to bring all that money into the present and sell at a premium. So it's the best option they have really today, because their only other option would be some sort of secured debt or traditional debt where they're paying interest, or to issue equity right now, and there's no premium on that. So they might as well do something like this. And later on, 5 years down the road, there's going to be some dilution event, but we can account for that dilution today as well, and recognize that it'll still be accretive because of how much cash they've brought in and what they plan to do with the cash, which I'll get into later. So approximately 1.28 billion, or approximately 1.48 billion, if the initial purchaser exercises its option to purchase additional notes in full. So they're issuing 1.28 billion. This is plus or minus expenses. The buyers of these bonds have the ability to up the amount if they wanted, if there was oversubscribed, basically, to 1.48 billion. So it's quite a lot of money. So there is some clauses in here for GameStop to actually force conversion early, but they have to wait at least until April 6, 2028. And the Class A common stock has to be at least 130% of the conversion price for the notes. So that 37.5% that I said is the conversion price. It has to also be 130% above that as well. And it has to be in effect for at least 20 trading days, whether or not consecutive, during any 30 consecutive trading day period. GameStop will provide a notice of redemption at a redemption price equal to 100% of the principal amount of the note. So, the bond payment paid back in full, plus accrued and unpaid special interest. So that's 0% in this case. So if we look back at historical examples, looking at MSTR in this similar situation here, they have two tranches of their convertible debt that is not in this forced conversion price position, but all their other tranches of debt are, and they've actually forced conversion on one of them prior. So this is something they could do. This is something they could do in part to force the buyers and holders of these convertible bonds to want to renew and buy new convertible bonds. This could be the case. Now let's talk about why GameStop is doing this. There's one sentence in here that says GameStop expects to use the net proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes, including the acquisition of Bitcoin, in a manner consistent with GameStop's investment policy. You see how that doesn't say including / or the acquisition of Bitcoin. This is for the acquisition of Bitcoin. Maybe they'll use some for something else, but this is an investment. This is an investment in Bitcoin. I would say all of this, or the vast majority of it, 90+%, is going to be used to buy Bitcoin. That's my prediction. Now, a lot of people are wondering why GameStop has so much cash and cash equivalents. They have $4.78 billion of cash. Why are they raising cash through something like a convertible bond, which typically is something that companies will do when they're a little bit distressed? They'll release these convertible bonds. GameStop is in a pretty strong balance sheet position. Of course, their business, maybe you could argue, is a little bit less strong, or needing to be restructured, which they've been doing constantly and consistently. My opinion is a lot of their cash and a lot of their earnings has actually been from their cash through short-term treasury bills and interest rates, and it looks very good on their balance sheet. And I think some of that will start to go towards Bitcoin, but this is a way for them to, again, bring a lot of cash up front to get a premium on their share price and to buy and start acquiring an asset that appreciates over time. Now, there's probably a lot of GameStop investors that don't really understand Bitcoin, don't believe in Bitcoin. I've actually seen some pictures from Reddit posts of people thinking this is a fake out, that they're not even going to buy Bitcoin. It makes
that's a narrative that, of course, they want you to believe, right? To, again, put a mistrust on someone like Ryan Cohen. It's like, oh, he's not going to do that. Because of that wording, it's like, oh, for general purpose and all that stuff. So the price action that you see, perhaps people just waiting on that, like the video I showed yesterday. The same exact sentiment is that, okay, the horde of traders out there that are, Bitcoiners, they're still kind of in the disbelief, right? Oh, he's not going to do that. What happened, do you think, is going to happen if you see announcements coming? GME is now have 5,000 Bitcoin. Only 5,000 is a lot, right? But just 5,000, like not even just the whole amount that they're putting in. Any amount of Bitcoin will send this company soaring the price, right? I'm telling you, just that announcement alone. It's not even like what they're doing, that is, they're not telling you about, behind closed door, building the business slowly, methodically, that foundation getting stronger and stronger. Never mind that. Just again, the Bitcoin itself is going to entice people coming. Because again, the whole institution who cannot buy a certain bond, only convertible bonds and all that stuff, they are going to flock into this type of investment. So now, because now they are able to earn on top of, just owning the equity. Now, equity has risk associated with it. Of course, the risk of converting later on, shareholder. But if you're smart enough, this is the time to hold GME, right? And then sell in 3 years if you want so, if you're so inclined to do so, right? And so again, that's why this is the opportune time in order, maybe the goal is to squeeze out the short, because short distort the value of your company, no matter what, right? And so, CEOs typically do not like their stock to be shorted so much, because it has that negative connotation to your company, to your legacy and all that stuff. And even then it's hard to shake, right? And so, with people who are trying to build some sort of legacy, they don't want that at all, right? So again, perhaps this is the time to squeeze these people out and turn them into a long-term shareholder. Right. And again, that's why I think that's the playbook here. And it's a genius playbook for sure. Yeah, maybe this is the plan all along. It's just that they need to be sure that they are able to raise a zero interest rate, a zero interest bond to people based on the balance sheet that they get. Imagine if GME were to do this last year, they wouldn't have the balance sheet to support it, right? Perhaps who's going to be able to, who's going to give GME a 0% convertible notes at $1 billion at a time? Perhaps they probably could raise maybe 500 million, two times less. But my point is like, again, as long as the balance sheet is strong enough, I think Ryan Cohen's kind of taken account for that too. And again, he's doing it very slow. This is what we want in a CEO. We don't want a flashy CEO. Come on, flashy means this type of bullcrap, right? This type of bullcrap, and he earns billions dollars. You guys, billions. He sold his company for that. Pulling the rug out of everyone. And yet, Ryan Cohen get this type of crap where, he's just diluting. It's like, seriously? And this type of CEO get to run scot-free. Zero reputation burn whatsoever. Crazy. Anyway. And again, this is like 10 times worse than GME right now. Well, at the peak anyway. Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry. Let's go back here.
Absolute complete sense for this company to buy Bitcoin. I will say that right now. The reason for that is Bitcoin is a fixed supply asset, and historically and in the future will continue to appreciate more quickly than GameStop will, than the Meg 7 will, than all of these different companies, because of the adoption curve we're on with Bitcoin and because of that scarce asset part of Bitcoin that I said earlier. Now, what this means basically is they're building a strong balance sheet of something that will grow in value, and if people are crazy enough to short this, right? There's not that much actual short interest on GameStop, but if somebody was crazy enough to short something that had a strong balance sheet and had Bitcoin on its balance sheet, they're essentially shorting Bitcoin. And people that short Bitcoin get wrecked. They might be okay if they're very, very quick with their shorts, but Bitcoin is something that can rapidly increase in value. And so we have this combination of GameStop, which has historically done that as well because of all the frenzy and the meme stock and the retail interest, and the momentum traders and the hedge funds also got on board. Let's not kid ourselves and think this was all retail driven. A bunch of hedge funds made a ton of money from the short squeeze as well. But with Bitcoin being the base, the balance sheet, the net asset value, it is something that the shorts are going to try to press on, and they cannot push that down. There will be people that try to short this, that think that
this is important too. I'm telling you, this is why I welcome anyone to try to short this thing. Retail, institution, it's coming, because every single short position out there, they have to flip back long eventually when their pain is so great. When the pain is so great, what do you think is going to happen? People are stop going, like, no, I can't fight this. So we might as well join them, right? So I'm telling you, as a long-term shareholder of this company, you are at advantage here. You have the time on your side. Okay. Yes, it's painful when you see this type of price action, but again, the risk is to the upside. I mean, meaning that the risk is not to own GME at this moment. The risk is not to own Bitcoin. Yeah, for any company, for any asset class or whatever, right? Think about it. Even Tesla, even Apple have risk associated with this. But over time, if you have an asset that is violently could not be shorted, because again, people could see it. Okay, if you short, all I have to do is just spike the price up to this level, boom, short squeeze on Bitcoin. Okay, and I think MicroStrategy stock itself was squozen. Weird term to say. But MicroStrategy stock in and of itself, I feel like it was short squeeze as well. Went through that period of short squeeze. Because if you look at the balance sheets, right, people love to short this type of company. So let me see. Initially, before they buy Bitcoin. And so when they buy Bitcoin, they can't short anymore. So see, even MicroStrategy still have 11% short. I didn't see the previous one. So never kind of keep track of this company until now. Excuse me. But yeah, institution still own 40%. So remember when I say you might not see any MOAS, a type of price action, until this increase to 60% or up. And they're coming. They are coming slowly. Okay, slowly. And again, that's why I think the PR people were kind of higher to think of ways to raise money for GME here. All right. Yeah, so the cash flow is positive for now. Obviously, there's some fluctuation here that we need to kind of address. Hold on, this is, annual. How about some quarter to quarter, 3 quarters in a row, we are cash flow positive, which is good, which is great to see. And this is what determine, I guess the valuation of the company, right? Because the future cash flow is what people kind of speculate on the value of any type of company in order to price the convertible notes. I mean, that's going to come in the future as well as the asset class continue to go up in price.
Bitcoin is going to nothing, and maybe they'll time it right with a bear market or something like that. But ultimately, this is a sign of something extremely strong getting created by GameStop. This combination of consolidating their brick and mortar, of growing their balance sheet, their earnings, and of acquiring Bitcoin into the future will make this company incredibly strong. I talked about the assets on their balance sheet, the 4.7 billion of cash. They have very little debt, basically none. They can start to acquire some healthy debt, some stuff like this, the convertible bonds, and they can actually put the money right away into action. They don't have to go out and set up a store in a mall where foot traffic is low and in an industry where people are going digital. They can acquire an asset the next day, the same day that the funds clear from these convertible bonds. They can acquire an asset that has a compound annual growth rate of 66% over the last few years. So it's just an incredible situation that they're in. I think GameStop is the perfect company for this to compete with MSTR. I think MSTR has such a moat that it takes a company like GameStop that has a huge base of traders and holders and of incredible volatility just in the stock itself. It takes a situation like that to even compete with something that has cemented itself so well as MSTR. MSTR has 500,000 plus Bitcoin. So they're never going to get caught up. GameStop will never have more Bitcoin than MSTR, but they could become a massive company because they are front running every other company that will end up with Bitcoin on their balance sheet. This is an inevitability. I only value companies that acquire Bitcoin, and I'm not alone. And the people that like me, the investors like me, we are growing. We are growing in size, we are growing in capital, and we are growing in investment. Now, what I expect.
This is also another important point too. That's the growth that you're looking for people who are looking for growth in this company. Growth in asset, okay, and asset owners who are enthusiastic about Bitcoin here. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. I'm telling you, Bitcoins is the biggest thing. Like, people think that GME movement, apes, and all that stuff are the biggest movement. No, there's no bigger movement of rabbit, investor out there than Bitcoin. I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. It's a crazy amount of people who are going to look at GME as a contender here. Again, the gambler is coming too. I'm telling you, they're not immune to, they're not going to just like sit on the sideline while, they could make, like I said, hedge fund, right? They could make $100 million in a year, in a day. Okay. And so they will try to blow each other out of their position and scare all of the shorters out there. And so short is at a disadvantage here, immensely at a disadvantage. So yeah, it's made to be seen. And obviously, people who believe in Ryan Cohen as well, is going to stand to benefit so much more. A lot of people just like because of crypto now, it's still kind of teetering. Today down close to 1% still. But I'm telling you, this is just a, to scare more retail out of the position. So stay strong. I know it's painful, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Expect into the future is I expect a little bit of bewilderment with this. I expect a lot of GameStop traders to have to learn about Bitcoin. They might know what Bitcoin is as a term, but they really don't know what Bitcoin is. They don't know, they can't explain the difficulty adjustment. They don't understand the significance of max supply of a commodity money that is not controlled by a central organization. They don't understand how huge that is and how needed that is in the world that we're in today because of fiat money. So I expect a lot of GameStop investors to have to learn that. And I expect a little bit of turmoil and volatility with the stock price until it gets priced in and until we go much higher because they're acquiring such a strong asset. Now, Jeff Walton, Punter Jeff from MSTR True North, I'm going to read out a tweet that he has that he says that Bitcoin Trojan horse for GME apes. So let him explain. Ape buys GME on high short interest, right? We've talked about the short interest. Ape discovers short interest is convertible bond arbitrage, maybe even from watching my video. Ape wonders what is convertible bond. Ape finds MSTR True North and gets educated. Ape realize need to learn Bitcoin. Ape eat orange pill. Ape orange pill all other apes. Ape strong together with digital capital diamond hands. I think that this is 100% true. I've seen some comments on my old videos. Months ago, I made these videos about the convertible bonds of MSTR, and they're asking, is this the same thing that's happening with GME right now? And that's what pushed me to make this video specifically about GME and to reiterate and re-explain what the convertible bonds are and why we've seen this huge short interest on GME. This is a post on Reddit here from Superstonk that says, shorts on GME have exploded since the company announced its Bitcoin treasury. This marks the second highest short volume since the January 2021 short squeeze. This is the chart that's going around. A lot of people are not attributing this to the convertible bonds yet, but I believe that this is the convertible bonds, as this person does too. They said it's most likely convert buyers arbitraging. Ben Workman.
So it's also important to note that this is new shorts, okay? New. So the old legacy short is still there. You know that. I know that. And of course, these Bitcoiners, again, they don't know about the company as well as we do either, right? So of course, now the Bitcoiners are going to learn so much more about GME as well. So we're learning about each other here. Two group of people fighting for the same cause, obviously. That again, that's why I'm saying two of my favorite superhero right now. It's just coming together and fighting for the same cause, which is again to save the equity market over here. I guess, retail investor. Give them a leg up a little bit here in life because we've been beaten down for quite some time, for a century over here. So, but anyway, it's just that's beside the point. My point is that, people are going to start learning about what GME is all about too. Okay. And those are much more of a population than you realize. So more eyes is going to be on GME as well.
Who is a great thinker in the space here, part of MSTR True North as well. As suspected, this was the pricing period of the GME convertible bond, 0% coupon with a premium of 37.5 and conversion price of $29.85, maturing in 2030. Next step, buy Bitcoin. You can see a massive volume spike, short volume spike in GameStop. So we have two of the most unique investor bases coming together on this stock. We have Bitcoiners, the hodlers, and we have the apes. We have GME investors, the diamond hands. A lot of them have held even past the short squeeze that was years ago, and they are ready for more. They believe in this company, they believe in the vision, and they believe in the community that they've created. So we have this meshing of two extremely strong holders of an asset, and this is crazy. This is a huge domino to fall. MSTR adopting Bitcoin was a big domino, but it's been a slow moving domino. And now it's finally knocked over GME, and GME will knock over many more because they will be so successful with buying Bitcoin, holding Bitcoin, and acquiring more Bitcoin, even with the added dilution that they are creating with something like a convertible bond. That is why I didn't talk too much about this, but convertible bonds are often attributed to a company that is beginning to fail because it opens itself up to a huge amount of dilution, and dilution is a really bad word in financial markets. And it's actually what happened with the short squeeze is the shorts were able to get shares because GME was started to dilute the shareholders and issue new shares, and they acquired a bunch of cash with that. And that's where a large portion of that $4.7 billion of cash they have is from the act of dilution, and it suppressed the share price, right? So with Bitcoin, you cannot dilute Bitcoin. There's a consensus mechanism to the issuance of it, and there's less of it issued every 4 years. There's the same amount of issued every single day until the halving of it being issued less, and no one can acquire more of it. You have to pay for it. You have to mine it. You cannot duplicate it. You cannot get it easily. You cannot dilute to get it. So this is an opportunity for GameStop to adopt metrics like Bitcoin per share and Bitcoin yield and Bitcoin gain. These are all metrics that were pioneered by Strategy. And if they do a convertible bond and they're able to put that money directly into Bitcoin, they, even with the added dilution, they will still be able to acquire more Bitcoin per share. And if we value something like Bitcoin, then we want more Bitcoin per share. We want a company that is growing the amount of Bitcoin per share, even with things like dilution, right? Which a bond, a debt instrument like this is basically shorting fiat and longing Bitcoin. And we know historically that has been a great trade because fiat is infinite. Fiat is controlled by a central bank that will debase it like crazy. And Bitcoin is finite, and we understand its issuance, and we know that no one can make more of it. So hopefully that explains everything. If you want to get yourself some Bitcoin, the place I get it is Bitcoin Well. There's many reasons I get it there, but if you use the sign up code in the description, you'll get some free Bitcoin on sign up. And if you want to preserve your seed phrase for future generations, I recommend the Stamp Seed Kit from Stampseed, and you can use my code BTC not crypto 15 for 15% off. And of course, if you want to book me for a one-on-one Bitcoin consult for learning about this, if you want to learn more about any of this stuff, you can book me. There's a link in the description for that as well. And if you want to learn more about these convertible bonds, check out this video that's popping up right now. It's about MSTR's convertible bonds, but you'll get a little bit more of an explanation and be able to connect that to this GME situation. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Bitcoin Not Crypto.
Okay, so he was saying Bitcoin per share might be the next metric that people are going to go nuts on. I was like, okay, what would happen if they buy $6 billion worth of Bitcoin, the whole thing, right? Then Bitcoin per share would give you this right here. How many Bitcoin is that? Let's see. Hold on. Well, at $100,000, how do you go to $16? Okay, so hold on. Let me just draw it over here, just in case. Okay. Let's doodle a little. Okay. All right, let's go. All right, so let's see. So Bitcoin per share, that's going to be the next metric. Okay, new added metric to go by. So no longer price per book. Now you have Bitcoin per share. Okay. So based on this one, if they go all in, billion worth at $82,000 right now. Again, easy math, right? Then they would come out at, I think that's what it was, right? Hold on, let me do that math again. Okay, so how many zeros is that? I think this is the one here. That's the amount. Oops. Hold on, you guys. Stay with me. Stay with me. I know it's been a long day, but okay. So it's this time. What's the exponential of -4 times e -4? What does that mean? It means 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 3 zeros. Oops. Okay. 3 zeros in between. I know, because it's so expensive, right? Bitcoin is so expensive. That's why. So it is 0.030 zeros and then that many Bitcoin per share. Okay, that's a lot. So if Bitcoin were to become $100,000 a share or a coin, this is going to be more valuable. Okay. Now with this status, okay, of new metric coming in, new investor will be more enticed to be like, okay, this company has this much Bitcoin, and how long will they be able to grow this Bitcoin per share? If they're able to grow this Bitcoin per share, as time goes on, of course, that's going to give them the ability to even create more money based on the money that you have. More Bitcoin based on the Bitcoin that you have. So this is what the yield is all about, Bitcoin yield that MicroStrategy is talking about, where because of leverage at a 0% interest rate or 10% at whatever time, right? Again, fall on hard time. They are going to be able to create, more Bitcoin in terms of growth here. So the more Bitcoin growth, the better, because Bitcoin is going to go higher in price. I mean, it just have to go up, right? Of course, that's the associated risk, right? The risk is that, okay, what if there's cyber attack and all that stuff? So now it's crazy to think that Ryan Cohen's just going to go all in at $6 billion. But I think he's going to do at least half of that. Okay. If half, then it's going to become 4 zeros. Okay. And then you have 8.9 Bitcoin per share. So this is at $3 billion. At $3 billion purchases at 82,000. That's crazy in and of itself. Like, if they could get at this price right now. Of course, with the tariff scare, right, it could drop down to even 70,000. But in which case, this number is gonna increase even more. So that's the infinite money glitch that gold seller is trying to create over here. Now, of course, this is going to be good for the institution as well. Institution's going to come into this company and going to be like, hey, yes, their business sucks, but they have this amount of Bitcoin per share, right? And so retail's going to flock, right, into this. Bitcoiners going to flock into this. Gamblers going to flock into this, right? You're going to attract all types of characters over here. And so there you go, you guys. Like, this is crazy, huh? Crazy. Okay. But anyway, so let's stop being crazy for a minute. All right, you guys, how many hours have I babbling on today? Not much here. Now let's switch gear a little bit. Of course, XRP is on the news and all that stuff. Bear trap, right? This guy's pumping. Well, I wouldn't say pumping, but I mean, just talking his own bag here. And me too, of course, right? So let's switch gear a little bit here. Now, of course, XRP has a very good, I guess, narrative at this time because of what is going on with the payments and all that stuff. Is setting up because of the lawsuit. Lawsuit just dropped. No longer that they have, the SEC following them around, looming threats of, being in trouble anymore. So, and then on top of that, they have a status of now they're not considered to be security. It is a commodity, just like Bitcoin is. Okay. Of course, there's a controversial, associated with this one as well. Therefore, that's why they get sued and all that stuff. So you have to learn about what is going on, and if you want to get involved into XRP. Again, I'm not trying to pump it. It's on you if you want to buy it. But in my opinion, because it's a status of now as a commodity, it's going to ensue a lot of buying pressure over here. Institution and the likes. Yes, institution also buying Bitcoin as well. Don't worry about it. If Bitcoin goes up, XRP is going to go up. It's all good for the space over here, okay? And of course, a lot of institution also still buying into Ethereum, because Ethereum, proof of stake, the more you have, the more money that you're gonna be able to generate based on the proof of stake, okay? Staking and all that stuff. So that is going to generate yield. Wall Street loves yields and all that stuff. My point is, you're going to have all types of flavors over here. So don't worry about, these are all like utility-based crypto over here. With XRP, though, because of the fast, scalable nature of things, there's more tokens than Bitcoin. So don't be fooled that that XRP is going to be like $10,000 a coin and all of that within this like short period of time. Maybe in the future, maybe, but not right now. Okay. Now, what I've been tracking is the burning rate. And the burning rate is not that much, you guys. Like I'm seeing this and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's not enough to be excited about, right? Of course, they're still building, they're still, trying to, onboard people with the stable coin route. So again, to be decided for, but they still are a small amount of burning so far. So this one is, so far since I tracked it back in December, I've noticed that so far they've only been burning 500,000 coins, from the usage over here. So again, that's the deflationary rate of this token is very negligible. Okay. Again, remain to be seen. I'm going to keep track of that as time goes on. But as if for now, on average, every day, only 5,000 token, about 5,000 token is being burned from the usage every day. Okay. Since the pool of tokens are way high, you could see that it's going to take quite some time. And how long? Well, at this rate, if they are, burning just 5,000 token, it would take 50,000 years for it to burn completely completely to zero. wait, actually, hold on. Let me make sure that hold on. Am I getting the right? Yeah, so the thing divided by this, because that's daily. Yeah, it takes 50,000 years for it to to burn completely to zero, right? So in human years, you're not going to see much of, in my opinion, again, remain to be seen, right? Unless you get to burn, 50,000 coins in a day, then, it's going to 5,000 years for it to be completely gone. So the point is that with the deflationary benefit, I don't think you're going to see it in human years. So I don't even take into account that to be any amount of significance based on the price action here. So that's going to affect the price for sure. But in this particular, excuse me, people are crazy. In this particular round or cycle, I feel like it can 10x for the short period of time. Again, due to a lot of enthusiastic nature of what it is and all of that. So, but as far as like $1,000 a coin, that's a bit too steep at the moment. Unless the demand is so high that the rate of burning is a lot bigger, like $1 million coins per day type of situation, in which case you might see the deflationary benefit from this chain being used. So that's remain to be seen. I'll continue to monitor that. Now the 5 coins that Trump was mentioning are Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, ADA. Okay, those are the 5 ones that are, quote unquote, created in the US. Okay, so that's good. Or at least that's what was in his tweet. So I'm sure, there's some capacity in how it's going to be used in whatever, usage. Of course, Shiba Inu and all that stuff. Those are highly volatile meme coins. So stay away from those if you can. But if you want to allocate those small, little, tiny cap, just expect pain every time Bitcoin goes down, right? Every other thing's going down crazily too. So with the super cycle though, which is like hopefully within this year, you're gonna see these coins swinging so quickly, right? Because again, due to the misdirection, by people trying to get you to lose money on those meme coins, unless you very quick at selling. So be careful, okay? Sell whenever possible. Don't wait. Any type of profit is better than nothing type thing, okay? If you hold on to this type of coin. Of course, Doge is the OG meme coin, so there's some, popularity, and the fact that Elon Musk is holding that to So that's the only reason why I think the market cap is still $25 billion market cap here. Yes, there's some value in there, but again, as far as like utility wise, I don't think it's going to be crypto that is used in any capacity. All right, you guys, I think I am pooped out. I'm pooped out at the moment, so I'm gonna have to go. But anyway, thank you for just sitting through this. I understand. I know Bitcoin is amazing. But yeah, I might come back like later on. Who knows? Who knows what happened? But I'm ready to take a nap actually from all of this. But anyway, so I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow, hopefully, if there's price action. Huh? So good luck, and yeah, let's go. And hopefully Roaring Kitty's gonna tweet. Like YOLO update. Today, tonight, maybe. All right, guys, let's go. Okay. I will see you when I see you. Okay, bye.